Good morning to all. I hope all are fine and safe at home. Welcome again to Google Classroom of Sri Kogulam Public School, Guruvayur. I am Revati, your English teacher. I hope all of you understood the second chapter and a poem. Now let's discuss our third chapter. Chapter name is The Most Beautiful Thing. The Most Beautiful Thing. Now I'll give a short summary of the story. There was a queen lived in a palace. She was bored to sew a same pictures, music, drawing, painting. She needed something different sort of beauty. Her advisor tried everything to help her, but nothing seemed to make her happy. She was still not happy. And the queen announced a contest for the most beautiful thing in the world. And the staff were shocked because she offered a prize for this contest was her crown. The prize for the contest was her crown. The crown made with full of gold and gems. After her announcement, a long line of people were formed. They brought all kind of things for the contest, including poetry, animals, drawing, painting, and so on. But the queen still not happy. And a bearded man waited there in 2 days. The man gives her a hope, saying that the most beautiful thing cannot be brought to her. You must go to it. That means she must go and find it. After the queen questioned him further, he was disappeared. And the queen decided to go for a trip. He wore the best dress for the journey and wore the crown also. She was very excited to go and search the most beautiful thing in the world, but she did not know where to find it. But when she looked back at her palace, she realized that how beautiful her palace. And she continued her journey. She saw beauty everywhere in nature. One day, she was sailing in a lake. She felt peaceful for the first time in many years. And she understood what was the happiness actually. Then she broke off a piece of crown and threw into a lake. Then she decided to go back to her palace. On her way back, she threw a piece of crown in different places where she brought the happiness. At last, the queen realized that the world was the most beautiful thing. I hope all of you understood the content of the story. Now let's go through the story.
The Most Beautiful Thing by Ella Kennan. I am bored, announced the Queen. Some music, Your Majesty? Asked her adviser. The Queen gave a slight nod. But when the court musicians started playing the same old song, she sent them away. The poor adviser tried everything to please the Queen. The court acrobats were called. Portraits were ordered. But she was still bored. I am tired of all this, she said, pointing to the room. I need a different sort of beauty. She announced, Inform everyone that the Queen is holding a contest for the most beautiful thing in the world, and the prize shall be this crown. Her staff gasped. The Queen's crown was pure gold, studded with magnificent gems. There was no treasure like it in the whole country. The announcement was made. Soon, a long line of people formed. They showed their poetry, their paintings, and even their animals. After several days, the Queen was disappointed. This is hopeless, she muttered. Not quite hopeless, Your Majesty. The Queen sat up, wondering who spoke. A bearded man stood behind the palace guards. You can end your search now, Your Highness. The Queen raised an eyebrow. Have you brought me the most beautiful thing? She asked the man. The man laughed. Ah, not I, nor anyone here. I have waited here for 2 days to tell you that the most beautiful thing cannot be brought to you. You must go to it.
I just divide the story into two parts. I hope all of you read the story along with the audio. Now let's explain the story. The first part of the story. There was a queen lived in a palace. She was very bored because she saw same pictures, drawing, painting and so on. But her advisor tried everything to make her happy. But nothing seemed make her happy. And the queen announced a contest. What is contest? Contest means competition. She announced a contest for the most beautiful thing in the world. The contest for the most beautiful thing in the world. And the prize for the contest was her crown. The people and the staff were shocked because she offered the prize for the contest was her crown. The crown made with full of gold and gems. After her announcement, a long line of people were formed. They brought all kind of things, including poetry, drawing, painting, even their animals for the contest. But the queen was not happy. She needed a different sort of beauty. And she was very disappointed to saw the same painting and the drawing. And a bearded man waited there 2 days. Gives a hope for the queen, saying that the most beautiful thing in the world cannot be brought to her. You must go to it. That means the most beautiful thing in the world cannot be brought to her. She go and find it. After the queen questioned him further, the bearded man was disappeared. The first part of the story wind up here. The next part I will discuss tomorrow. Now I discuss the new words and meaning from the first part.
Your Majesty, a way of addressing a queen or a king. Your Majesty means a way of addressing a queen or a king. Advisor. Advisor means a person who gives advice. A person who gives advice we call as advisor. Acrobats. What is spelling of acrobats? ACROBATS. Acrobats. People who are good at stunts like jumping, balancing and so on. People who are good at stunts like jumping, balancing and so on we call as acrobats. Portraits. Portraits means pictures of a person, especially of the face. Pictures of the person, especially of the face. Gasped. What is the meaning of gasped? Catch one's breath with an open mouth. Gasp means catch one's breath with an open mouth. Muttered. What do you mean muttered? The same meaning murmured. Muttered means say something in a low voice. Say something in a low voice.
I have attached the new words and meaning from the first part of the story. Download and write down. We will discuss it tomorrow. That's all for today. Let's conclude today's section. See you in the next class. Thank you.